Welcome everybody for my second dungeon guide for Bless Online. This time I will be showing you guys Dead Mines Hard Mode, which is located at the northeast of Cornus Mountain, right here inside the Cobalt Caves. Now this dungeon is probably the second one that you will be doing based on equipment score, as it requires 8042, just above Migratoris. However, in terms of actual difficulty, this one would probably be regarded as the most difficult one, at least on the Japanese server, as most of the abilities, if they hit you, they will one-shot you. Now once again, as a little disclaimer, as I mentioned, I'm playing on the Japanese server. My ping is around 260 to 300, so all the abilities activate a lot slower than you would normally see if you would have good ping. Also, this is still the old combat system, however, this is still going to be representative in terms of how the dungeon works, and I don't expect a lot of the mechanics to actually change. Alright, so let's head right in, and we'll start off with the first boss. At the start of the fight, the boss will summon a golem, which cannot be tanked and will target random party members throughout the fight, attacking them for a moderate amount of damage, and additionally also doing a 3-lane line AoE that will most likely one-shot you if you get hit by it. Every minute into the fight, the golem will also increase its damage by 10%, and this kind of acts as the enrage timer for this boss, as after some time the golem will simply have too much damage and will start killing everyone in your party, especially if he starts focusing on the healer. The boss itself will auto-attack the closest target rather than the person that has the most aggro on it. The boss itself has two main abilities that he will be using throughout the fight. The first one being a small circle lightning AoE that he will focus on the tank, dealing massive amounts of damage on impact and a moderate amount of damage while it lingers on the ground. If you get hit by the initial AoE, you will also receive a dot that will do damage over 3 seconds, most likely resulting in your death if you didn't die from the initial AoE to begin with. To make this a little bit less annoying for the other melees, make sure that your tank is either positioned on the other side of the boss or even move away a little bit to ensure that the ground AoE doesn't linger around and annoy the other melees. He will cast this 3 times in a row and then following up with a big circle AoE around him, one-shotting pretty much everyone who happens to get hit by it. Lastly, throughout the fight, the boss will summon 2 relatively squishy skeletons next to him that can be easily killed, for example by a berserker with AoEs. They really don't do a whole lot of damage either and can be dealt with relatively easily with just a few AoEs. And that's pretty much it for this first boss. I'll now let the fight run from this point onwards, just with the in-game sound. And I will see you guys at the next boss. The Addis on me, I mean. I think the boss is also on me. But,
Is it?
I don't know, it looks in my direction suspiciously often.
Yeah, but uses AoE on me, so I don't know.
Alright. Okay, I need to run.
Yeah, run.
Oh, he's on limb 1.
No, not like this.
Yes,
Pick AoE.
this.
Backdrop, Lemore, backdrop. Nothing. No.
Yeah, I'm moving in.
I can't just stop attacking while he's using AoE, but I
No,
might
no,
lose
no,
aggro.
it's fine, it's fine. No, just stand like,
Oh, no.
just try to stand like this is fine. Like if the circle's like this, I can just be on the other side and I'm
Yeah,
good.
it's over soon.
It's just that,
A golem is on me, I can't
yeah,
do
but
this.
boss is dead. Boss is dead. So, before we go over to this next boss, there's going to be this little small event where you have to defend this crystal here in the middle. There will basically be a lot of skeletons spawning, so make sure to pick as many AoE skills as you can. After a while, there will also be 1 elite skeleton spawning that will do a big line AoE. Make sure to pull it away from the crystal so that it doesn't hit it and destroy it, because that AoE will do a lot of damage. Your paladin can also heal the crystal, so if it goes low, just make sure to pop a couple of heals on it. Overall, the event is relatively easy. The skeletons don't actually focus on the crystal purely. As soon as you attack them, they will actually attack you back. You will get aggro on them, so there really isn't all that much of a difficulty in there. I'll just go like fast forward through this and then we'll actually start with the second boss. And here we are at the second boss. Similar to the first one, he does an AoE circle around him that will most likely one-shot you if you get hit by it. However, this one can be interrupted, so make sure to bring interrupt skills and ideally communicate in your party who interrupts which one, and that will make this fight a lot easier and you will not have to dodge quite as often. as melee in this fight. This boss will also target random party members with small circle AoEs, most likely one-shotting them if they get hit by it. It can be dodged relatively easily, and most of the time he will cast those 3 times in a row and then continue with his other attacks. At some point throughout the fight, the boss will cast a room-wide AoE, dealing moderate amounts of damage to everyone that gets hit by it and rooting them for 1 second. Right after, the boss will transform into a plant, gaining a massive shield which will absorb a lot of damage. This shield will need to be broken as fast as possible, so make sure to save all your burst skills just for this phase. During this phase, the boss will deal double damage, so as a tank, make sure to have your block skill ready, and as a healer, be ready to do as much healing on your tank as possible. Additionally, there will be a blue rune spawning at a random location throughout the room. Going into this rune will greatly increase your damage, so especially as a range, make sure to pick up this rune to destroy the shield as fast as you can. You can have multiple people picking up this damage buff by stepping into the rune at the same time. Lastly, while in the flower form, the boss will also do a poison AoE that will stay on the ground throughout the entire fight, dealing a moderate amount of damage while you're standing inside of it. For this fight, you do not want to have your graphic effects on the lowest setting, because then you will not be able to see the poison cloud similar to the Zerker here in my party, and you will simply die to it. So make sure to set that up a little bit. Once you have destroyed the shield, the boss will go back into phase 1, resuming his normal attacks. At some point throughout the fight, he will go into phase 2 again, so just be ready to burst him down there again, and then after that you will simply be able to kill him. As usual, I will now let the fight run again with in-game sounds, and I will see you guys at the third boss. DPS like that during the other phase? Or it's at least very dangerous. Right, over.
It's gone now.
I will interrupt.
Right, I have. Oh yeah, you can do it, you can do it. Okay, I
What?
guess you don't.
I did.
Maybe he dodged it. Oh, shit.
God, finish
Yeah,
him.
okay, I'm dead.
Oh my god.
Yeah, sorry.
Lamar,
I forgot
I
that
got this.
stamina potion goes
I
on
got
cooldown.
this.
do it!
Well, it should be easy.
Ah, fuck, it hurts so much.
Oh, he's casting now. He should be fine.
We're gonna get fucked.
Nah. He's just casting the small AoEs now. He should be perfectly easy to kill him.
He should be dead now.
Lemoyne!
Lemon, what are what?
Oh my god, the clutch!
All planned.
Okay, let's release and then loot, I guess.
I-
And here we are at the third boss. You want to tank this guy at the entrance of the room as far away from those stones as possible. That is because every 20% throughout the fight, the boss will run to one of the crystals starting from the left and then going over to the right and trying to consume them. Once he reaches the crystal, he will channel for 10 seconds. If he manages to finish channeling before you destroy the crystal, he will gain a buff depending on which stone he consumed. The first stone will give him a massive attack buff, the second one will make him reflect all the damage he's taking, the third one will give him a massive defense buff, and the fourth one will make him spam AoEs until the fight is over. So failing to destroy any of the 4 crystals will most likely result in a wipe. The crystals will progressively get more and more HP, so make sure to save your big damage buffs, especially for the 3rd and 4th crystal, ideally saving your paladin damage buff for the 4th one. The boss himself has 2 main skills that he will be using throughout the fight. One is a cleave in front of him that does a moderate amount of damage, and one is a double AoE that he does around him that will most likely one-shot you once again if you get hit by them. The next ability of this boss is that he will spawn a lot of AoE circles around the room, which will only have a few safe zones that you can use to not get hit by them. Additionally, these circles can also be iframed. Don't be surprised if the circles spawn a second time, those will not explode, it's simply a bug in the game. You can see that this attack is coming by him raising his fist into the air and screaming, "You'll be damned." This is also the AoE that the boss will continuously spam if he manages to consume the 4th stone. As for his last mechanic, the boss will summon 4 adds in the middle of the room. These can and should be CC'd as they do a lot of damage per attack and should be AoE down as fast as possible. And that's it for this boss. As usual, I'll let the rest run with in-game sounds, and I'll see you guys at the 4th and last boss. Alright. Should get pushed now. Yep, there it is. I'll debuff it. Right, I guess now we don't really have to pull him anymore. So just get him to the middle or whatever. Where the Ed spawn maybe.
Almost critted everything on rapid fire. What the fuck?
Wow, feels good. Ed's
Remove Lamar.
gonna stun them. Just kill him though, honestly. Right. Oh, they're still up. Okay.
Oh.
Oh, please heal me! Ah, no, I can't move!
They
Ah,
always stay. You have to finish them.
gotta hate it. When you suddenly get kicked out of action mode. And here we are at the final boss. The first ability that she will be casting is the small circle area on a random party member, dealing a lot of damage and applying a dot if you get hit by it. The lingering AoE, however, will not really do a whole lot of damage, so you can't stand inside of it. After casting this twice, she will always do a small AoE around her, one-shotting you if you get hit by it. Her first actual mechanic starts off with this room-wide AoE you just saw. If you get hit by it, it will do a moderate amount of damage, even one-shotting you if it crits. Additionally, it will also root you in place for 1 second. Right after, she will spawn a golden bubble either south or north of the room. Everyone in the party will have to go into the room to become immune from her attacks. After that, she will do 5 auto attacks on random party members, one-shotting everyone who is not inside the bubble. Starting at the second time she does the big room-wide AoE, she will also summon skeletons that run to random party members, and after a short time they will explode, one-shotting you if you're still inside the AoE. It's relatively simple to avoid them though. Additionally, the skeletons are also kinda squishy and they can be stunned if you wish to do so, but usually it's best to just let them explode and simply walk away from them. These two skills will not always line up, so the skeletons will actually spawn at random times throughout the fight. It's just that the first time they spawn will always be right after the second room-wide AoE. At 50%, the boss will spawn 2 images of herself on the west and east side of the room. These will mimic her casts, doing 3 small AoEs, followed by 1 big AoE around them. You need to make sure to burst these down as fast as possible, as there will be a lot of AoEs going around. So make sure to save your burst just for this phase. Apart from that, everything else will still be going on just as normal, so she will still be doing the bubble mechanic, and she will still be spawning the skeletons, so just make sure to deal with the mechanics just as you did before, while making sure to kill the images as fast as possible. At 30%, the boss will start spawning 3 orbs, 1 south, 1 northeast, and 1 northwest, that need to be destroyed instantly. After she spawns the orbs, she will prepare to cast a massive AoE, and these orbs will have to be destroyed before she finishes casting this. If you do not destroy the orbs in time, she will continuously keep casting the AoE that she's about to do. If you kill it in time, she will only cast it once. While there are randomly placed safe zones around the map, one safe zone will always be at the entrance of the room, so we always like to simply go there as it is the safest option. After doing this orb phase, she will also start casting Darkness Explosion, which is a room-wide AoE dealing a lot of damage and stunning everyone that gets hit by it. However, this skill can and should be interrupted, as it will most likely one-shot squishier targets, especially if it happens to crit. Apart from that, she will just continue her basic rotation of small AoEs, bubble phase, and skeleton summoning. Once she's done this whole rotation, and she's done 1 more Darkness Explosion, she will then summon another set of orbs. Be sure to kill them as fast as possible, go back to the safe zone at the entrance, and then simply kill her. And with that, that's it for this dungeon guide. I hope you enjoyed the video and it will help you clearing the dungeon on release of Bless Online. If you have any questions, make sure to just put them in the comments below. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. And make sure to check out my stream on twitch.tv/aritv, where I will be streaming Bless Online once the game releases a lot. And I'm currently also streaming Bless Japan. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And get back. I'm debuffing. Interrupt.
How long until rest?
2 minutes, 3.
Okay.
AoE.
Bubble.
Fuck.
Ah. Oh.
I got locked in for so long. Was that 1 or 2? 3?
4,
Okay. Yeah, and
5. I'll finish.
Should be orbs soon
Kill
again.
it.
shit, I have debuff. Interrupt, interrupt, interrupt. If you can. Nice, well played. It's killer, honestly.
Dead. No? Lol.
Just does 10k. Alright, there we go. Good job.